Hi, and welcome back to our channel. As you can see, she's back.
Yay!
Yay! I don't have to fly solo anymore.
But you did a great job flying solo. I was really
Thank
proud
you.
of you. I thought it was awesome that you actually did a video on anxiety and did it by yourself. Because I
Just
know
a
that
little
caused
ironic.
you. Yeah, a little ironic because I know that caused you a little stress, but
A little bit.
Great job.
It was all right. It's something I feel like I'm somewhat comfortable talking about, just because I feel like I'm experienced. I don't think that's something that you want to be experienced in, but
Right.
anyway, so welcome back to our channel. We're happy that you guys are joining us again. I'm Taylor,
I'm Tracy.
and we are
TNT.
Okay, so what tea are you drinking?
Well, actually, since I was on that trip, I brought back some tea this time. So
She
I
did.
am doing and these are loose leaf teas this time. So we're doing all the fancy stuff. Anyway,
So good.
mine's called Papaya Passion. It's a black tea, so I still need a little of the caffeine because I'm still recovering from a little jet lag.
Yes, yeah, she just got back a few days ago. And this is also a tea that she brought back for me. It's a coconut lavender. It's actually really, really good. I love coconut. She doesn't, but I love coconut.
Yep.
So anyway, I was gonna say y'all should go out and try these, but I think the only place you can buy them is at the tea shop in Tucson.
Tucson.
So
yeah.
I don't know. Sorry guys.
Scented Leaf. Little
Scented-
shout out to Scented Leaf.
Yes.
No,
There you go.
not sponsoring us, but we'll give them a shout out anyway.
Sponsor us. We love your tea. No, it's really good. So if you try something like it though, comment below and tell us your thoughts. So today, what are we going to be talking about?
We've decided to talk about traveling since I just got back, but we're going to start with some stories.
I have a couple of stories. I guess you have a lot of experience with that actually, right? Because you did a lot of traveling with my brother and I.
Yeah. With us being a military family, there were a lot of times where when their dad would go out of town because we were homeschooling, we could go with him. So we would just pack up all the books, pack up all the stuff, and we'd just go along. And one of our favorite places was Savannah, Georgia.
Yes.
Yeah, we would go there, and I think he was usually there for at least a couple weeks because
I think so.
he was going to school. He would have to have update training, and he would be in school, so we would do that.
A lot of fun memories there. It was a beautiful place. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, we love Savannah. We'll just start with the worst of the stories.
The
No.
worst of the stories.
No,
Let's just get
it's
that
like-
out of the way. All right.
Well, it was just the worst for me. My husband was already gone, and it was going to be about a 15-hour drive to get to where we were going. And of course, I was going to be making that drive by myself because they were still kids. So I had this grand plan that I would sleep for a while during the day and then drive at night while they were sleeping. But
Well, we'll get into that more later, but
anyway,
can't always count on that.
they didn't, they decided they were going to stay up all night too. And so
Woo!
by the early morning hours, as siblings will do, they were pressing each other's buttons in the back seat.
She's touching me.
Yeah, they were crossing the line, and they were just exhausted
My
at
side,
that
your side. My side, your side.
And they're so tired at that point, everybody's cranky. And I actually did something that I thought I would never in my life do. I am driving with one hand and swinging with the other hand in the background, trying to hit anything that moved.
And my brother ducked out of the way, and I'm the one that got swacked. So that's great. Thank you for that. I will say I have no memory of this. I think the story is hilarious. I hear my brother talk about it. I've heard my brother talk about it before, and of course I've heard my mom talk about it, but I actually don't remember this at all. I must have been pretty young.
Yeah, you were pretty young at that
But
point.
still, he got me swacked. It's all his fault. Let's just get that cleared up right now.
Either that or you just didn't duck fast enough.
Fair enough. So my son had just turned 1. We were in the middle of a move. My husband came out. here to get the house and kind of get settled and just start at his new job and all of that. And I stayed behind, so my mom was actually recovering from surgery at that time too, so I stayed behind to help her out with her recovery. And so we were doing long distance for a little bit, my husband and I were, and then one of my best friends is getting married in California. And so the plan was for me to fly from Florida to California and go to the wedding, and I was actually doing her hair for the wedding. And then I was gonna fly from California to Montana and, meet up with my husband. So that's like a lot of distance.
That's a lot of traveling.
It's a lot of distance. And that was the first time that I had ever flown by myself with a young child. So it was a little nerve-wracking when I say a little, I mean like a lot, actually. It was a lot nerve-wracking for me. And as I already shared with you guys previously in my other video, I struggle with anxiety. So this was definitely one of those moments that, my anxiety was like up here for this one. But I have to say, my son was wonderful. He honestly traveled a lot better than I thought he would.
Yeah.
But like what you said, he didn't sleep like at all. And I kept thinking, okay, he's gonna fall asleep eventually. And I remember holding him and rocking him like when we were on our layover and like trying to get him to go to sleep for a little while. And like, no, he was just wide awake. But I sat next to people that were just very kind and very understanding of my situation. And I was very blessed by that, actually, that these strangers that I was sitting with on all of my flights actually were just so kind and helped me a lot with my son. So I was very thankful for that. But anyway, I mean, of course we made it safely and stuff. I definitely got a little sick. Just a little bit. That was very embarrassing. We landed in Montana and we were okay.
I'm sorry, can you hold my baby?
No, literally. Yeah. No, that's actually what happened. I was holding him with one arm and I had the bag in my hand like this, and the guy sitting next to me was like, "Do you want me to hold him for a minute?" I was like, "Thank you." Oh my goodness, it was so embarrassing. And when I landed and my husband picked me up, one of the first things I said to him was, "Never again. I am not doing this again." But anyway, so of course I was not very experienced at that time. So we're gonna dive into a couple of tips now that I wish I would have known in those moments.
I'll kick it off. Benadryl. Benadryl.
Benadryl?
Did I say Benadryl?
Okay, care to expound on that one?
As noted in both stories, for whatever reason, I think maybe it's the excitement and it's the newness of travel and all these things. Yeah, and there's just so much going on. You cannot count on your children sleeping.
It's true.
While you're traveling. I counted on that, driving all night long with sleeping kids did not happen. She's traveling with a 1-year-old. They take naps all day long, at least throughout the day. I personally have to have Dramamine when I travel because I get sick. And so if I'm on Dramamine and my kids are super active, I'm not going to be able to keep up. And I discussed this with my pediatrician. If they are of age, it is okay to give them a little Benadryl, and it helps their ears too. It's going to help everything kind of stay cleared up on the air, especially when you're flying on an airplane. It's going to help their ears stay clear so that maybe they won't hurt as much as you're landing.
And I think even too, depending on where you're road tripping it, if you're in the car, there's a lot of mountains and hills, and my ears pop all the time when we're just taking a road trip. So I think Benadryl helps with that. And my son actually gets motion sickness as well. So I think Benadryl just helps with a lot of different things. It helps them calm down, it helps with their ears, and then when their ears are more level, then they don't feel so nauseous. There's like a lot of benefits to it.
Right. And I've never actually tried Dramamine with my kids, but if your child gets sick, that's an option too, because that really does subdue them as well, and it makes me very sleepy.
They do have children's Dramamine. My friend actually gave me just a small little bit of it. Yeah, a small dose of it for my son. So, and it helped a lot with him.
Yeah.
So
that kind of hits 2 at a time. So don't assume your kids are going to sleep. Benadryl, and then the Benadryl is helpful. So road games. I know this sounds like so kind of old-fashioned. I don't know if people still do these, but we had such a fantastic
I remember
time.
this.
Yeah, when we would travel and we would do road games. You can do the alphabet on signs,
or
and you can
license
do it,
plates.
license plates, and you can do it like together, where like I do A, then B, and you go around, or you can do it as a competition.
Race
right?
It. Yeah, that's usually what we do. We try to find the alphabet. Oh, and just gonna throw this in there in case you guys want to ever play. You can't pick the same sign. So if there's like an A and a B on one sign, and I call A, then she can't take the B or whatever. She can't have the A or the B. So anyway, it's a fun game.
It's a fun game. And then another one that we did that I don't know if a lot of people do is we would do 1-sentence stories.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. We have a very creative family, and so basically I would start a story and I would do a sentence and a half, and so I would stop right in the middle of my sentence, and then the next person has to pick up from there, and then they
finish the sentence and then
start a half.
Start a half sentence.
Right. And oh my goodness, the stories were hysterical. They would go places you never expected them to be, and the kids were super creative. And of course, when you're making a sentence, you've got something in mind, and it goes completely somewhere else. So
that's fun.
Definitely road games are one of my big ones.
Well, and I wanted to add to that. I'm sure they still have them on Amazon. I should look into this. But I remember when I was a kid that you had those little packs for us that would strap on to the seat in front of us. And they had little magnetic games. So we could play like chess or checkers, and they're like mini versions of it.
Right.
And it was all magnetic. So then my brother and I could play these games in the car, and the pieces wouldn't just get all over the place.
Right.
It was really helpful that they were magnetic. And I'm sure something like that still exists.
Yeah, and those packs were great too because they have a fold-out little table so that they could put their coloring stuff on there.
It was just like
books.
like an airplane table in front of you. It was great.
And those were awesome. So yeah, that's a good memory. I didn't remember that one.
Yeah.
So the other one is for a long road trip. I did this one. We used to travel across from Arizona to Florida when we were in the military, when we were stationed in Tucson. So one time during that road trip, I made a treasure box, and then I basically did the math, figured out about how many hours we would be on the road, bought gifts enough to give them a new something every 2 hours.
No way.
And you don't remember?
No, I don't remember this, but that's a great idea.
And so they could pick from the treasure as long as they were being good.
Oh, this is very conditional, I see. Okay.
But so every couple hours, and they could pick something new from the treasure box, and it was of course something that they could do in the car. So like clings for the windows, or stuff, markers that you could color on the windows with, or a magnet game, whatever it was. And a lot of the stuff came from the dollar store, so it was a really cheap idea to do.
Even just like different kind of coloring books. There's like a lot of different fun activity coloring books and things like that help, keep kids occupied. Also, my brother and I didn't go anywhere without our like CD players, our music. But we didn't go anywhere without some form of music. And of course, when we were kids, we had little tape players, and then when we got a little older, we got CD players.
Woo! Moving up.
And then I had my little shuffle. I remember that. Anyway, that's kind of funny now. I feel old, so that's great. Glad we brought that up. Anyway,
that and Game Boys. So that's a throwback.
Yes. Oh my goodness, Game Boys. Man, they don't make stuff like this anymore. It's just a different time. But seriously, okay. But I mean, you have games on your phone nowadays and stuff. So I mean, there's plenty of
things to do, but
substitutes for those things.
But there is so much more to do, and use that time to interact with the family, rather than just always, everybody being on their phones, everybody being in their headphones where you're not interacting. And that's why I really like the idea of like the games, the travel games, or Like I said, road games, those things you could still play the sentence game even if you're flying, and there's other ones that you could do. So
Yeah.
but the last thing I kind of want to talk about, and you kind of brought it up in your story a little bit, is don't put the pressure on yourself when your kids are acting up or when things are going on, because you will find that there's a lot of kind strangers out there.
It's true.
I had to hand my son over to a kind stranger during a flight one time because I wasn't feeling well. And, you know, the good thing about it is, I mean, it's not like they can
What
run
are
off.
they going to do? Yeah, y'all are stuck on a plane together. It's true.
But, I mean, not just, you know, the people sitting in your row, don't be afraid to call a flight attendant. Don't be afraid. And don't put that extra pressure on yourself if your baby's crying. We've all been through it. We've been there. And nobody's judging, not nearly as badly as you think they are,
It's
unless
true.
they're just not nice.
Unless you just have a Karen sitting next to you, and that's gonna suck. No, for real though, I feel like
Okay, Karen.
okay, Karens just need to chill. No, but in all honesty though, my experience with traveling, I have run into such kind people that are so understanding, and they've been there before, you know, with a screaming child, or, you know, an antsy child who is ready to get out of their seat and run around the airplane. And all those tips that we were talking about just a minute ago are great for older kids, but this is definitely something that I wish that I would have kept in mind when I was traveling with a baby, because I just think, again, I had anxiety through that traveling, and I think that was just like an added thing, an added pressure on myself, was that, you know, I was afraid that my kid was going to be bothersome to the people on the plane next to me or around me, and honestly, more often than not, that's really not the case. I think most people, you know, they smile and wave when they see babies, and, you know, and I think a lot of people want to ask if they can hold your baby, and, you know, and of course, if you're comfortable with that, I say, why not? Like, just take a 5-minute break or something, and you can get yourself a snack, or, you know, or whatever.
Right.
And I just think it's good to take those opportunities. Obviously, in saying that, you have to be wise about these things, because you don't want to just pass your baby on to just a random stranger. But you know what I mean. I mean, taking those things into consideration and being wise about it, I found that there are some very kind people out there who are willing to help.
Speaking of that, I'm just going to tell one more story. Is I was traveling with my son, and he was an infant at the time. I got into my seat, and this older lady came up, and I could tell that she was going to be sitting in my row. And then she turned around and went and talked to the flight attendant, and ended up changing seats with somebody. And I was like, oh, she did not want to sit next to a baby.
Aww.
She did not want to do that or whatever. Well, she came up to me later and said, I have shingles, and I didn't want to sit next to your child.
Oh.
And so, I mean, people in general are just super nice and kind out there. I think in general, obviously, you know, like she said, we have to be wise about that. But I was thinking the worst, and here she was
Right.
thinking the best.
And I think we got to keep those things in mind for sure, because we don't want to just assume the worst of the people around us. Like, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we just don't know about. And I think it's really easy to let your mind just go to the worst case scenarios and just go, oh, they didn't, you know, I'm bothering them, or I'm annoying, or my kid is annoying, or this or
Right.
that. And really, they're actually looking out for you, and you don't even realize it.
Yep.
So, I don't know, putting a little bit of faith back into humanity in this day and age.
We need it.
Yeah, we do. We need it. So anyway, and on the flip side of that, if you're traveling alone and you see a mom in need, ask if she needs help in any way.
Yeah. Give her that short break that you know you would need along the way. So,
For sure.
yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think we are out of time for this video, but this was great. I enjoyed these stories and stuff. This was a fun video. I enjoyed it.
Good memories.
Yeah, for sure. All right. We'll see you guys in the next one.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.